Hello everybody and welcome back to more political chatter. In this video we will be ranking Donald Trump's potential vice presidential picks. At this point in time it looks like that we are certain to get a Trump-Biden-Kennedy general election matchup, and the the Democratic Party, Joe Biden, has obviously already selected his running mate. That's Kamala Harris. Of course, he announced that when he announced his campaign in the first place, and he is almost certain to be the Democratic nominee. And we don't know Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s running mate yet. He is yet to pick, and it will be soon, because to get on the ballot in a lot of states, you need to submit a vice presidential candidate, to get on the ballot in the first place. And then Donald Trump has not picked his. Of course, in 2016 and 2020, his running mate was Mike Pence. However, after Mike Pence certified the election for Biden as president of the Senate, they completely, went different ways, and they are very much enemies now. So obviously, Mike Pence won't be Donald Trump's pick this time around, and it could be any one of these people, likely, or maybe someone else, but I highly, highly doubt that it would be someone else besides from this list. So, starting, naming all of the potential picks that this list gives, at least, I would probably add a couple more if I had made it, but I just found it on TierMaker. That's Florida Senator Marco Rubio, Missouri Senator Josh Hawley, Louisiana Senator John Kennedy, South Carolina Senator Lindsey Graham, his daughter Ivanka Trump, Texas Senator Ted Cruz, Iowa Governor Kim Reynolds, Iowa Senator Joni Ernst, Arkansas Senator Tom Cotton, Candace Owens, just an activist, journalist, Georgia Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene, former House Speaker Newt Gingrich, former Representative Kevin McCarthy, don't know why Joni Ernst is on there again, South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, South Carolina Senator Tim Scott, former VP Mike Pence, Colorado Representative Lauren Boebert, Kentucky Senator Rand Paul, Florida Senator Rick Scott, former UN Ambassador Nikki Haley, also his rival in the Republican primary, Florida Representative Matt Gaetz, Tennessee Senator Marsha Blackburn. I have a guess of who that is, but I don't even know for sure, and whatever, it doesn't matter. I have no idea who this guy is. That's the double of Joni Ernst, and I don't really know who she is. So we're discluding these three. I will not be ranking them. Now, again, I didn't make this list. I would definitely add a couple like Kari Lake, although she is running for Senate, so that is very unlikely. But if I really thought about it, I could probably add a few more, and I would take away some. I mean, people like Mike Pence, he is obviously not being selected as vice president. Ivanka Trump, there is no way that she is being nominated for vice president. Newt Gingrich, how old is he at this point? He's not being vice president. I mean, Trump hates Kevin McCarthy. There are quite a few, but despite that, we'll rank them anyway. Now, how am I ranking them? On terms of how good of a pick they are, how much strength or weakness they add to the ticket. Of course, higher tiers will mean that they have a strong advantage to the ticket, while the lower tiers means that they weaken the ticket. So we'll start with Marco Rubio, and he is honestly one that could end up as the vice presidential pick, because Trump knows that he wouldn't be a bad pick. I know he was considered in 2016. He is a more moderate, young, refreshing voice that Trump definitely needs. A lot of people are tired of hearing Trump and Biden, and Marco Rubio is a fresh new voice, fresh new face that will be sure to get some voters, some younger voters at least, on their side. I would put Marco Rubio in A tier. I think that, and he's Latino, I think that he would honestly be a great pick for Trump. I mean, I would put him in S, honestly, because looking at these other candidates, he is like one of the best. So I would put Marco Rubio in S tier, actually, not A. So Josh Hawley, he is young, energetic, and would definitely add to the Trump ticket. I don't think he would weaken the ticket. However, he is a bit controversial with what he has said in the past. He is pretty extreme, pretty far right, and the Democrats could use that to their advantage. So overall, I would put Josh Hawley at B tier for Trump. John Kennedy, even though he is funny and he's like popular on social media from videos being spread of him being funny in the Senate room, he really doesn't add much. When you think about suburban women, blue collar workers, voters in these key swing states, John Kennedy doesn't really add much to it. He comes from down south in Louisiana, not at all a swing state or a swing region at all. So I don't think Kennedy would be a good pick at all. Plus, he is he would be an old vice president, not young. I would put him at F tier. Lindsey Graham is one of the most unpopular senators. South Carolina hates him. The country hates him. They find him annoying. He's pretty old. This is a younger photo of him. He's much older than this now. And he's just very unpopular even in his own state. He ran for president in 2016 and got absolutely nowhere. You probably don't even know that he ran because his campaign ended so quickly. He doesn't add a single thing to the ticket. He doesn't even get moderate voters or independents at all. He would be F tier. Now, Ivanka Trump, for anyone else, she would honestly be a solid pick. Young, energetic, a fresh new face for politics. She sounds very smart. Honestly, I can't believe I'm saying this, but she would probably pull over suburban women if she was the vice president the running mate pick of any other candidate, like Ron DeSantis or anyone else. Especially if someone like Ron DeSantis or Nikki Haley or someone else were to beat Trump in the primary, they picked Ivanka Trump for vice president, they might actually pull back most of that Trump base because of that. But these are Trump's potential running mates, and this would stir so much controversy. Obviously, you're not going to pick your own daughter for vice president. How could you do that? But if it were to happen, there would be a lot of outrage, with whatever, just him and his family wanting power. So it would hurt him much more than it would help him. So Ivanka Trump is an F tier, definitely. Next, we have Ted Cruz, who might have had something in 2016, but nowadays he is just regarded as one of the most annoying and obnoxious senators to anyone who isn't a very strong conservative. Ted Cruz, again, very unpopular, even in Texas. I mean, remarkably, his Senate seat is up for grabs in 2024. I don't think that Trump would ever pick him, obviously, after they ran against each other in 2016. And he's not that young. He doesn't add much, but he is more well known, I guess, and would pull more conservative leaning independents towards Trump. Those who are those who don't like how Trump speaks and everything. He might actually be able to pull some of those voters, so I'd at least put him in D tier, but he would be a terrible choice. Next, we have Iowa Senator Joni Ernst. I think that she would be a solid pick. I would put her in A tier. She is seen as one of the most moderate members of the GOP, even though she's not. As a woman, she would definitely appeal to suburban women, pull some suburban women that the Trump campaign desperately needs in states like Pennsylvania, Arizona, Nevada. There's a few states where suburban women really can make the difference, and Joni Ernst, as a more moderate, more acceptable woman as Trump's running mate, could actually tilt some of these suburban women into Trump's column. Next, we have Arkansas Senator Tom Cotton. I don't think he adds much because he is very unknown. I shouldn't say very. I mean, he's more well known than probably not Joni Ernst. Of the senators on this list, he's probably the least known. But Tom Cotton, he's a Southerner, doesn't really add much strength electorally to the ticket, I don't think, but he is definitely going to be more acceptable to voters than Ted Cruz, John Kennedy, Lindsey Graham. These people would really hurt the ticket because of how unlikable they are and because of how extreme they are. Tom Cotton is definitely going to be more acceptable to voters. I would put him at C tier. Not a terrible choice. Candace Owens is definitely an F tier because, you know, for an establishment figure, she would be an okay pick because, she gets these libertarian-minded people, maybe these anti-establishment people on the Republican ticket. But with Trump, who is already seen as the very anti-establishment, um, you know, against status quo candidate, you don't need another anti-establishment against status quo candidate like Candace Owens. I mean, even though she is a black woman, which would probably help a normal Republican nominee, Trump is already just like Candace Owens, and then she's even more crazy than Trump, so this ticket would just be seen as insane, crazy, unelectable, and it would be doomed from the start. Candace Owens would hurt the Trump ticket dramatically, even though she is a black woman, it doesn't really mean, in this case, that she will help Trump because she is much more extreme than Trump. Obviously, Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene is F tier. There are so many scandals around her and what she has said in the past. She is so extreme, probably the most extreme member of Congress, and whatever. I mean, she has made some very nasty remarks about the Holocaust, other conspiracy theories, and the Democrats would absolutely destroy Trump and MTG if they were on a ticket together. So Newt Gingrich, I won't put in F tier just because he is very well known and he is known for being, independent, libertarian-minded, which will help Trump in these more drain the swamp places, or where the voters are drain the swamp minded, like in the blue wall, Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, with the blue collar workers. So that might help the ticket, I guess, a little bit. However, he is getting very, very old, Newt Gingrich. I mean, he ran for president in 2012, now 12 years ago. He was the Speaker of the House. I think he stepped down as Speaker in 2000, which is so long ago. So he was a representative a long, long time ago, and his time has passed. I mean, obviously, he's not going to be Trump's pick, but he wouldn't be that strong of a pick either. Next, we have Kevin McCarthy, who Trump will obviously never pick. I'll say this about Kevin McCarthy: at least he's not controversial to Democratic and independent voters, more moderate voters. Then again, he is seen as a very, very, very establishment figure, and as we know, establishment Republicans or Democrats tend to not do well electorally, presidentially, at least to those who come across as very establishment, like Kevin McCarthy. He comes across as very rich, very inside job-ish. So, I mean, we also have to keep in mind that he literally retired from the House a few days ago, and he was ousted as Speaker. That won't help him. He's F tier for sure. So next we have Kristi Noem, who, even though she has put in place some controversial, very conservative laws in South Dakota, she is a very likable and electable candidate. I would put her in S tier. I mean, she won re-election by so much when back in 2018 she only won by 3. And she would be able to pull over these suburban women, and they would probably like how she speaks, how she comes across. She comes across as very acceptable to more moderate voters, how she speaks. She seems more moderate than the rest, even though she probably isn't. She definitely comes across that way. So I would put Kristi Noem in S tier. I think that Trump will pick her. I've said this for a while now. I think that she will end up as Trump's running mate. And, I think that she would be one of the best choices. Next, we have Ron DeSantis, who is running against Trump and probably won't get chosen, and his campaign is a total fumble. Maybe if it was more successful, Trump would consider him to unite the party, get the more anti-Trump Republicans to still vote for him, even though he is Trump. But now, since his campaign was just a total bust, DeSantis is probably out for consideration. But I don't think it would be terrible. He is more energetic than Trump. Maybe, I guess not. I would actually not say that, but at least he is younger, seen as the more acceptable and moderate version of Trump. So I think that he probably, I guess, adds to the ticket a little bit. I would put DeSanctimonious at probably B tier. I think that he would be better than Tom Cotton, just the same about as Josh Hawley. Next, we have Tim Scott. I think that Tim Scott is an excellent pick. I shouldn't say excellent, pretty good pick. I would put him in A tier. He is a minority, which helps. And a very established senator who has a record of actually doing stuff, so that always helps. So right off the bat, he's solid, but he just does lack the energy. At least like Marco Rubio has some energy. Tim Scott's campaign was a failure because he had no energy. I mean, in the he started the Republican debates with more support than Nikki Haley, but Nikki Haley had energy on the debates, and she is now polling ahead of DeSantis nationally, while Tim Scott dropped out like a month ago now. So Tim Scott does lack the energy, and that's why I don't put him at S, but he would still be a pretty solid pick. Definitely seen as one of the more moderate Republicans who could draw a lot of independent and centrist and Democratic voters. Next, we have Mike Pence, who we don't even need to consider, but I mean, I don't know what Trump supporters would even think. Trump might actually lose some if he picks Pence to be VP, but he didn't. He helped in 2016 because Trump was so much of an outsider, and Mike Pence was so establishment. But this time around, it's different. I mean, everyone hates Mike Pence now, and he probably doesn't add anything to the ticket. I would put him in D tier because at least he doesn't weaken it as much as Candace Owens. Lauren Boebert is F. She's just like Marjorie Taylor Greene, very extreme representative, annoying. No one can stand her. She'll just turn away so many voters. Next, we have Rand Paul, and he's again an outsider, very anti-establishment, extremely libertarian. But I don't know how much it helps. There's a reason Trump picked Pence, because he was an establishment politician to balance out the ticket. And with Rand Paul, someone who's against the deep state, the insiders, it probably doesn't help with uniting the Republican Party, which Trump needs. But I guess it would. I guess he would kind of pull some independent, anti-government, libertarian, blue-collar workers in the Rust Belt. So I'd put Rand Paul at B. Rick Scott doesn't add much at all. I mean, it's not like he would hurt the ticket as bad as extremists like down here, but I'd put him at D. He's a senator from Florida. Old, boring. I don't know. He wouldn't add a single thing to the ticket. Nikki Haley, she might actually turn off a significant amount of Trump supporters because she has now, been seen by them as the warmonger in this race, as the, authoritarian, basically, in this race, who is an interventionist and goes against all Trump ideologies. So Trump would lose some of his own base if he picked Nikki Haley as VP, but I think that she would pull so many suburban women, moderates, centrists, independents, and moderate Democrats. She would pull a significant number of Democrats, especially if she is the presidential nominee, but even as the vice presidential nominee. Well, I guess she wouldn't pull Democrats to Trump, but maybe a few. So I think that would heavily outnumber the number of Trump supporters that she would turn away, but I would put her at A tier. Next, we have Matt Gaetz. Again, so extreme. Democrats would use what he has said in the past against him because all of these guys have voted. I mean, their legislative record is even worse for what they vote against, but he only hurts the ticket. Finally, Marsha Blackburn doesn't add much, but she is a woman, so I'll give her a C. So, in S tier, and we're not doing the last three, in S tier, we have Florida Senator Marco Rubio and Kristi Noem. In A tier, still good, but not as fantastic as Rubio and Noem. In A tier, we have Joni Ernst, Tim Scott, and Nikki Haley. In B tier, They add something a little bit to the ticket, but not much at all. Josh Hawley, Ron DeSantis, and Rand Paul. See, they really even it out. They don't add anything, but it's not like they turn away any voters. Tom Cotton and Marsha Blackburn in D tier, they start to turn off a few voters, those who don't like them. That's Ted Cruz, Newt Gingrich, Mike Pence, and Rick Scott. And in F tier, they turn off so many voters, hurts the ticket significantly. John Kennedy, Lindsey Graham, Ivanka Trump, Candace Owens, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Kevin McCarthy, Lauren Boebert, and Matt Gaetz. So thank you all for watching this video. I am trying to get a video out every day until the election in 2024. So I hope you all join me in this journey. Hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you all next time.